All right, hey everybody. This is Jordan McConnell, host of Crohn's Veteran Podcast. I'm joined today by my co-host Kevin and CJ. Today we're going to be talking about uh, COVID-19 and how is it affecting us with ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, and kind of speaking on our own personal experiences on where we live and excited to be here, excited to get started. Please check out our website, www.crohnsveteran.com. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out on LinkedIn. And also check us out on Instagram. I'm at Crohn's Veteran. CJ is at Papuro. So check us out. So with that, let's get started. And so, CJ, Kevin, what is going on in you guys' areas?
Oh,
We can start maybe with CJ first.
for us, I'm in Manassas Park area in Virginia. It just looks like um, normal day. I see people out all the time. Kids are outside playing in the neighborhood. You go to the store, you see stores are open, just
So,
all
so,
around and stuff.
so are people in your area like wearing the mask and kind of doing the?
Oh yeah. You see a lot of people wearing the mask, but there are those people
Yeah, I mean it's definitely kind of the same thing here. And so, I think we were having a conversation the other day, and you were saying that just that the kind of the infections have kind of spiked there. Um,
who don't. Yeah.
Maybe the medical and some of the medical facilities and stuff.
Yeah, I was reading like an article. Um, Actually, my last appointment for Intibio, I was reading like article that said that the Washington D.C. State Medical Center,
Hmm.
like staff got infected, like over 2,000 of the staff got infected. So I was just iffy about going there to get my appointment, but I just ended up going anyways. When I went, like the hospital was like pretty empty. Like they have just people, just like the workers and security, making sure like they know who's getting in, IDing everybody, making sure everybody's good before they get in.
Right, right. Well, that's cool. So do you feel yourself just kind of going out and about safe, unsafe? How do you feel yourself?
Oh, me, bro, I don't even leave the house to be honest with you. It's the only time I leave the house is literally if I'm want to get food, and it's pretty much like takeout. To be real with you, bro.
I'm the
That
same, man. Like I'm actually real talk. Like I actually only going to go outside like take like taking the dog out. Maybe we'll go in the car.
hmm
But I won't get out of the car. Like wifey will get out and go inside places and stuff. Like,
that's
so, yeah, I'm good on because where I live at, people kind of just don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like they yeah, it's kind of like we're one of those places where we never really shut down in the beginning at all. We just never shut down, and so everybody's kind of like that because of freedom, they want to be able to go outside and get everybody else sick, and so yeah, so here I said my wife's job is about to open up. Actually, they open up this week. All the restaurants are back opened up. It's kind of like it never even happened, even though it's supposed to get a whole lot worse. But there's this drive to kind of
yep.
open to kind of open the country. Consequences be damned. You know.
Oh, they know what's going on.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
know what they're doing.
exactly. And so yeah, there's a lot of effort in making sure that those service work the people that all the worker bees are back working back working in the hive again. And so yeah, that's kind of what it's like here a little bit. But I'll kind of go over Nebraska a little bit more in a second. Kevin, what's life like for you?
So I'm in Fairfax right now, Burke. Uh, I everyone I encounter when I'm out and about, they're all wearing masks. Everybody's like strictly adhering to that 6 foot distance. You're supposed to keep between you and another person. Like when I went to go get my prescription yesterday, for Crohn's. It's funny that we're talking about that. I they're only allowing a certain amount of people inside the giant at once. It's like a
It's
hundred people or some
similar
shit like that.
Mm.
And so I tried to go in, and they're like, "No, there's too many people." So I was like, "Well, fuck. This is a first time for everything. I've never gotten denied growing into a grocery store."
Yeah,
So I mean, it's people are taking it very seriously over here, very, very, very seriously. Like more seriously than I think it needs to be taken. To be honest with you, like everyone just thinks that
I
if I
think they
touch
need to
them,
take it like that over here because it doesn't seem like that over here.
everyone. No, it's just it's. I don't know. I don't like it. It's not that serious. It's yes, be safe. Yes, adhere to the rules. But like, if you get too close to somebody, like when you're like shopping next to them, they like give you like the fucking devil eye or like,
yeah, yeah, the stink eye and stuff.
yeah, it's just like don't you dare come near my food. It's just like it's not that serious.
Well, I think yeah, I
I
think,
But
mean, it's either 6 feet apart or 6 feet deep. Your choice, bro. Like, let me
6 feet, dude, that is such a major exaggeration. It's so funny.
let me know.
But
uh,
I have a couple friends that are that work in the General Assembly in Virginia for the government, and I think the governor just announced yesterday that we're going to start with phase 1 of the reopening plan in Virginia, and that
oh,
doesn't include Northern Virginia because the population is obviously what it is up here in Northern Virginia, and the cases have still gone up here, whereas other parts of Virginia it's going down.
I'm seeing right now like a post from like 13 hours ago that Northam said that Northern Virginia will likely delay phase 1 reopening.
Yep, yeah. So that's what we're looking at right now.
I mean, that's good though.
I mean, yeah, it's the most populous, most populous spot for everybody. Everyone lives here that either works in DC or Maryland, so it's a lot more people than it is in I don't know
The rest,
Farmville, Virginia.
the rest of
right,
Virginia.
right. I mean,
So,
I'm actually Fairfax is actually where I was born. So that's where I'm from. And so, but but yeah, like Nebraska is definitely interesting. So the way people are living here, you would think that there was no virus, for a little while, that or there was kind of. I mean, you saw a few people in masks and stuff, but yeah, just nothing actually got really shut down, at all. So let me see here. Uh, I think, yeah, I mean, I think in my county, we had like one death or something, and about 250 cases and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it seems like yeah, like just like looking outside and because where I stay at, there's a major street behind us and stuff, and there's just cars whizzing by all day long. Like it never actually felt like that the whole state or the city or whatever was actually locked down. It just felt like
interesting.
It felt like that for a little bit because, like, the roads are clearing up
mm,
out, but
Yeah, I'm with CJ though. I've barely left my house too. I only leave it to really get food and like drugs
yeah,
for my stomach. That's the only pharmacy or food.
yeah, yeah. I mean, pretty much it's like I saw like this meme that was talking about like remember how people like I remember places, how people used to go to places all the time. You used to go to this place and that place and then hang out at this place. Like going to places is over, type thing.
People say it might not come back like, ever again the same way.
No, I mean no, I mean just imagine some of these things like like I don't know, like a movie theater,
imagine if this is seasonal, bro.
right? And because the flu is seasonal, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And so, and then not only that, I said the Spanish flu. I guess
It killed like 50 million people, right? Something like that.
exactly. And so I know I mentioned this before, but that was 2 years. So,
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
It lasted 2 years.
You're right.
so that was, people were wearing the mask and everything, the social distance, a lot of the same stuff we're doing now, we were doing 100 years ago. And pretty much the only reason that virus is lost in memory is that it happened during World War I. And so people were, getting killed in combat and dying from this flu at the same time. So it wasn't really that important. And so, but now, now 100 years later, um, things are, there's, am I losing connection?
No, you still good. You still good.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. But now it seems like, everybody thinks that, it can't happen to them. I actually think that my in-laws, my wife's parents, caught it when they were traveling. So I think they're one of those people that actually might have, infected God knows how many people.
Oh lordy.
Because they went, my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, and her husband, they live in Germany, and and uh, and they went, I guess, to France or something for, I don't know, just for fun or something. It's close by, and so. But they were saying that, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, I guess, had gotten really, really sick, and so yes, they're pretty sure that they got it, and they were flying on airplanes and the whole 9 yards. So, you know, literally, like, who knows what they infected. And so to me, having Crohn's disease or, just a compromised immune system, yeah, like I'm not gonna, risk it too much. It's kind of not worth. It's just not worth it. Um,
Yeah.
there's, yeah,
Well, we're lucky. We're lucky we live in this time and not like 1904 because we can afford to work from home.
yeah,
Like, look at us right now. Like, we're creating content, creating a business, like sharing our personal stories from home. But this was like 1910. There's no way that would happen.
yeah, for real. I mean, you have to, in, I don't even know, like, write your own book, put it in a newspaper, get something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and probably 100 years ago, I don't even think they had the radio yet.
Nah, not yet. Yeah.
And
I think it's just the very beginnings of it or something like
I
that.
think it's more like the 30s or something when they had the radio, something like that. And um, so yeah, I mean, we're in a crazy time. And yeah, I mean, we can, create content, hook up and share our stories with being, halfway across the country from each other. It's dope. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is,
Love it.
we'll have to get Kevin a better camera, but it's all good.
Next time I won't be on my phone. I'll be on the computer.
There's like,
I just gotta figure out how to work WebEx from my my laptop. Think I tried and it didn't work.
I'm using. I have mine on the MacBook. I have mine on the MacBook here, and I have it on the desktop too. It works. It works.
Yeah, it works. Using mine.
When we get done, send me some information. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. I just happen to look up, like, because there's so many security flaws or whatever with Zoom.
Yeah.
That people are bombing accounts because those passwords and stuff people are just putting them on, message boards and sharing them with everybody, and so.
Yeah. You want to know something funny? Like, quick sidebar. So you guys know how I'm into politics and all that stuff. DC, I'm like volunteering right now for this dude who's running for like council at large. Basically in the District of Columbia government, and so he set up a Zoom call, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a good amount of followers for his Twitter account. He tweeted out the link to go to it. It was just like a discussion about COVID-19 or COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So he put it out publicly, and then I get onto the meeting, and I see like 4 dudes eating off, like all on the Zoom. It was weird. Like, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell was that?
Yeah, like Zoom bombing. Like, a lot of the times, I mean, dudes, going to the office or whatever, hanging out with themselves. That's that's one thing. But but usually it's like some racist stuff, or some shock jock stuff. Just trying to, it would be like a elementary school, teacher meeting or something. And they're doing like Nazi stuff or something. Just some like real or like hardcore pornography or whatever. Just like trying to just kind of doing it for the laughs, doing it for the lulz or whatever. just trying to like shock jock stuff. It's not like they're racist necessarily or um, doing this or doing that. It's just kind of just it's just for some reason it's just bored kids during this pandemic that think this stuff is hilarious.
Basically.
So so like
Trolls.
yeah, like trolls. Yeah, just because of that kind of whole troll life. Just yeah, you have nothing better to do with your time. So like to just mess with people that are trying to do something with their lives, pretty much. So
Yeah.
and so yeah, so that's exactly that. And it's a problem with, I said, I mean, there's some security features in Zoom that you can use, but by default, most of them are turned off. And when people send out these passwords and keys and stuff like that, um, yeah, they can just be yeah, just put on
Face text, man. Thanks
yeah.
for the follow, man.
Yeah, you can put them on Facebook, you put it on Instagram, you can literally put it anywhere. Just anybody in the world could just join your meeting at 10. And so like or whatever, and uh and just do what they do, and so and be anonymous or whatever, and just start saying crazy stuff. I mean, I've seen a lot of that on online, just a whole lot about what people are doing, and so that was the main reason I wanted to do Cisco WebEx, is just because to me it's a better product, and you can do up to 50 people at one time, unlimited, versus
That's all.
yeah, versus like 3 people for like 39 minutes or whatever, which is ridiculous. So, yeah, so that's
They're just trying to make some money. Let's be honest.
for real. For real.
They knew what they was doing.
For real. In general, because I guess I guess we could have, I guess we could have done like we still could do Instagram lives or things like that, and where we actually record.
Hey, Hers, thanks for the follow.
Right on. And so,
Instagram Live is lit. I like the format because I can ask questions.
yeah, and so that's kind of what CJ was saying, like, for these conversations, I kind of like that idea. I kind of like that interaction. I kind of like that being able to record a live show, so people can when they're seeing the show after the fact, they can see those comments and everything like all that stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it kind of shows that engagement, because it's still just us talking to each other, but you really can get that community feel out of it. And so, but yeah, and so what else is going on? Oh yeah, so pretty much in Nebraska, they've yeah, they're doing like I guess I don't know if it's true for the rest of the country or places that are kind of reopening or whatever, but they're doing like 50% capacity, and yeah, still kind of doing this like 6 feet apart, and some other things. It just seems like I just don't know how some of these businesses are going to actually stay in business at like half capacity, or not only that, out of the three of us, all three of us are staying home pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're not.
And so the idea, we're gonna just open it back up, open it up. Everybody can come. But if people are so kind of scared or have anxiety about catching this virus, or
They're not thinking about the people who actually have, illnesses or conditions.
right, like hyper, have pre-existing conditions, like not only Crohn's and colitis, but hypertension, diabetes, liver stuff, bad lungs, COPD or whatever.
Yeah, they're going off.
Yeah, and so like all of that kind of stuff is like those people might be able to work in general, but it's like it just doesn't make logical, rational sense to be going to risking your life like that. I mean, it just. My thing is just like not actually. I don't think it's actually going to be any customers. I really don't. I think these places are going to be open, but as far as people actually showing up and shopping and stuff, it's going to be a little bit different for a while, because not only that, so something like 33 million people have put in for unemployment. So,
Yeah.
and so with that, who's doing all this shopping? So,
I heard they're trying to do like another round of the stimulus checks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was smart.
You said that would be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one knows when we're gonna get back to what we normally were doing, so it's probably safe to do that
yeah.
again.
From what
I also think they should suspend paying on rent and mortgages. That too.
yeah,
How are you supposed to pay on a mortgage when you don't have a fucking job? Like,
exactly. Small details. So, and so yes. I mean, I finally might be getting my stimulus soon. So it's partly just
You haven't got it yet?
no. Because I was like paying taxes the last couple of years. So I had to like put in my I had to put in my like info, my deposit stuff, and so um, and so that at first when they came out, when I checked everything, like we don't know like we don't know enough about you or something, or we need more information from you or something like that, and then I checked it again like a week later, and it was saying, okay, yeah, you're eligible. We direct deposit information, but then I needed my taxes and stuff, so I was like, oh, so I had to find that, and then it just time. So like, and so I finally got it done, like a few days ago, and so that and then my unemployment from Nebraska, I think that's like that was approved, but like not through my job, so I think I'm just getting it's just all kind of nothing's ever easy, bro. So
Yeah, I agree.
that's the truth.
but yeah, and so I mean just trying to scrape and scrap, for just to be able to do what I can over here, and so but yeah, so to speak on that, so to go from there are a lot of people, politicians and stuff that have speaking of politics that have spoken on, like universal basic incomes and stuff. A lot of like what's it called, like left wing progressive folks and stuff. And to me, it's a great idea. I don't like I don't understand the idea of having the freedom to live in a box type thing. And so like to me, people should be free to pursue their interests, pursue their passions, and not to worry about being sick or homeless. So, and to me, if we're a country taking care of people, if we're a country, we should be kind of looking after our own people, So, and not, because right now it just seems like, yeah, the freedom is to we have the freedom to fend for ourselves completely, and that's kind of what freedom is. That's what it seems like, and not the freedom to pursue happiness type thing, because it seems like right now we're just kind of pursuing staying alive. So
I agree.
you know,
I
and
agree.
having a $2,000 universal basic income, you know, yeah, that would put out all the fires and allow you to build that life you want, build that business, work for that company, volunteer somewhere, but the idea that you're not worrying about feeding yourself, you're feeding your kids, or having a place to live, kind of matters. And so I would, I'm definitely on board with that universal basic income, but there are a lot of people. Yeah, there's also the counter argument that that's just giving handouts to takers, right?
Exactly. People just gonna spend that money on whatever they want,
Right, that.
not on what they need.
Yeah, like to me, even those people are like a small fraction of a percentage of the users. The users are pretty small, and so the needers are pretty high, and so because that's always the argument with any kind of public benefit or being on the dole or whatever is that oh well there's somebody that's buying steak and lobster and eating good and I mean Chef Boyardee they're eating steak, that kind of stuff. So like
Oh,
or here I am working my butt off, or how come my taxes are going to pay for their life and yada yada yada. It's all this bunch of junk, and so I to me uh, looking out for each other and taking care of each other is not an alien concept. It's not taboo. To me, it's like what other first world countries actually do. You know, so if you go to other places in the world, I mean, even not even far away, Canada as an example. So, it has things like universal health care, or national health care. I think they might have a combination of private insurance and national health care and stuff. And um, so stuff like that. I mean, imagine if you didn't have to worry about going bankrupt like me, just paying medical bills and stuff, and then you're able to actually, get all this Crohn stuff taken care of, or UC stuff taken care of without going bankrupt, literally. And so, um, that's yeah. So we definitely need a combination of better healthcare and that kind of social safety net, so people can, realize their dreams without, being in kind of constant state of anxiety about their futures and stuff. So, um, yeah, so I think that's definitely important. I think that, um, our country is supposedly, so rich and so powerful. Um, there should be more. There should be more on the plate, type thing. Um, I think it's what Martin Luther King was talking about. That the whole economic justice thing. So, and so there has to be, uh, some more equality, or at least more, people that, I hate to call it equity, the ability to do the same thing as other people. And so yeah, man. So Kevin, what are your thoughts on that?
Universal basic income.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of it. I don't see how that's a problem. And even if you do give it to people and they do decide to spend it on whatever they want, well, that's their choice,
Yeah.
And the whole point of it for me doing that would be like making sure the economy doesn't ever like fail too hard ever again. So like if you were to do that, for example, let's say this isn't happening. Let's say like next year we're back to normal, right? January 1st, 2021, we're back to normal. And we decide, or the president, whoever the hell the president is, decides to give everybody over the age of 18 a universal basic income of $2,000 per month, coupled with the wages you might be working for, or unemployment, whatever it is. It's going to double. It's going to make your salary go up by $2,000 each month. So I'm not understanding why that's a bad thing, so to speak, because it's always going to go back into our economy some way or some form, no matter what. If it's in investments, if it's in housing, if it's in like just spending, and we are the consumers of the world, all we do is care about money and buy things, et cetera, that we don't need. So I'm not sure, like, why is this bad?
Well,
I don't see that.
part of the reason that people are going to say, the answer, I don't like it is because of racism. It's just, bias and stuff. People are thinking, oh well,
Hey, Kevin,
What's up?
he just telling you to kick back, bro.
Huh?
Like set up, you know what I mean? You just got your phone flipped up. People are looking at that. You're like just talking in his ear.
I can't hear you.
Like he's saying to, if you can't,
Wants you to set up, like set your camera up.
So we all can
Presentable.
So we all can see your beautiful face. Type thing.
Okay. All right.
They're also asking, would you do 30 things with $2,000 a month?
What?
Because of the universal income. Donnie 420 is asking, are you guys in favor of public nudity? And I answered, I told him, I don't know about you guys, but I don't mind it.
You said public what?
Nudity.
Oh, public nudity. So like,
yeah.
I mean, like,
a weird question.
Yeah, well, I don't know how that has to do with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, but then he followed it up with, I would do some dirty things for $2,000 a month, and I was just like, bro, I need money.
Right.
You gotta do to get your own money.
You see, I guess, public nudity, and like, free country and stuff. As long as you're not hurting anybody or not, messing with anybody, that's it's cool with me. But to me, the beauty of this $2,000 is that you don't have to do scandalous, shady, shifty things for that money. They're just going to give it to you. So you don't have to worry about doing doing favors or whatever for that money. And
I think it would help a lot of people though.
yeah, it would. It really would because I mean that has nothing to do with your earning potential. That's not
Hmm.
it doesn't say anything about you as an individual, about your own dreams, goals, and aspirations and ambitions and stuff. You can still
Yeah.
go out and be a millionaire or go out and change the world and stuff. And that $2,000 could be invested. It could be saved. It could be given away as charity. You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
How
I
you
think it
gonna
would.
go out and change the world if you're stuck in quarantine, my guy?
Right? Right.
Mm.
You know,
So
I mean,
online.
yeah. I personally, I'm not a big fan of like Medicare for all though. That's a logistical nightmare.
mm,
Why you say that?
Okay, example. I'll give you, if you answer this question the way I think you're going to, it'll make my point. But if you don't, then I could be wrong. But what in reality, both I want to ask both a question. Out of everything the government does, do you trust any of it?
well, currently, yeah, there's probably like asterisks on that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay.
it's
Donald,
right.
just go back to 2016 then.
All right, fair.
20, did you trust the administration to handle all their jobs and duties well?
Um, to a point. I thought in 2016 that the people that were in there, um, the vast majority of people, were there because to kind of for service and not for self interest. And that there's always those people for self interest, but
Yeah.
I feel like we had more career servants, in government than we do now. Right now, it feels like we just have people that are all hands in the cookie jar and seeing nobody, and don't care if anybody's looking, type thing. And so,
I like that.
and so like, and so I would feel like putting out a Medicare for all program right now, would feel like it's just a massive theft program right now type thing, like, but
It's just
but
like,
I mean, but I think to answer your question, man, I think that it's possible for the government. I mean, the government runs the post office, even though they put an artificial pension plan on that. Um, but
I just
I think it's possible for the government to put out effective plans. You
the
know,
quality would go down. Like what makes our healthcare so great, right? Or not so great. Our system isn't great, but people come from all across the world to get surgeries and stuff done here because of capitalism.
hmm
There's there's surgeons who are so good they don't work at your local hospital. They work at their own private practice, and they're like some of the best in the country. But because like people like you and I wouldn't be able to afford them, like so to speak. Okay, with our insurance, right? Let's say I need to get my, like, I don't know, appendix shit, and my insurance only covered $2,000 of the $6,000 surgery cost, so that would bring me to $4,000 but I need to have my appendix removed. So like they have leverage in that way where it's like I'm gonna, like, my skills are prized in the healthcare market. I'm gonna make it very, very expensive to get surgeries done, as opposed to Medicare for all. If we move towards that, then like what's the incentive for doctors to really like.
I know, and that's but that would be part of a bigger issue of that of kind of making kind of like education, making healthcare for profit in the first place. That's
Yeah, no,
having a profit motive to keep people healthy is probably inherently wrong, on some level, you know,
no, agree.
and so like
I just worried that our quality will go down for all 330 Americans, all on one plan, all at this, like it wouldn't work like that, like people think. People probably hear that like, oh, Medicare for all, it'll be so easy. It really won't. It'll take years, and there will be massive problems with it before.
well, yeah, because I mean, yeah, there's so many standing structures, in the way of that type thing. I mean, yeah, you're talking about if a doctor makes, $250,000 or whatever it is, a year, yeah, and then going from Medicare for all, yeah, he might be looking at like a lot less money and stuff.
Exactly, and people are going to get upset. Insurance companies are going to get upset.
Yeah,
companies are gonna get upset. Like everyone's gonna get pissed, except for the people, obviously, and
Yeah.
that's. But those three things: pharmaceutical companies, out of practice doctors, all they're gonna fight back against it. They don't want that.
No, I mean because as I said, it's yes, I mean you're taking a lot of there's a lot of money in that, there's a lot of like livelihoods and stuff, and then that's probably the biggest problem of having for-profit care.
Yep.
Just in general is that you're gonna have all this pushback and resistance to actually doing the right thing, which is to just do no harm and help people, with medical issues and stuff, and it's like, and so, but maybe it's one of those following the models of other first world countries that have gotten things figured out a little bit better,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
because there is a model to where there can be some capitalism, some profit in there, but also making sure people can get the health care that's needed without again going into the poorhouse or being bankrupt or financial or whatever because of that.
Do you know how like it's a lot? Mainly the opposition for Medicare for all is like mainly Republicans, but some moderate Democrats don't really support it. I kind of don't. But so you know how it's like mainly Republicans that don't support it. Well, like they see it as a slippery slope. They think if we take capitalism out of healthcare, what are we going to take capitalism out of next? And it kind of makes sense
Well,
because that's socialism in a way.
it's true, but I mean, but those same Republicans have no problem getting stimulus checks, so they're all
No,
hypocrites.
no, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And so socialism type thing. And so they're fine getting their businesses and corporations bailout money, but as soon as people need money,
Need actual money, yeah, to survive. No,
it's all different story. And so you can kind of miss all that socialism, takers talk because farmers and big corporations take every single day from the government, and when an individual needs help, all of a sudden they're lazy or they're living with a dole. So it's just a gigantic hypocrisy that people eat up every day. So, but yeah, and so
agreed.
and so it's but I think that yeah, I mean speaking of taking what's next, well maybe you could take profit out of prison. That would be helpful. So
That would be awesome. But you and I both know it's going to be a fight to do some of this stuff, man.
I know, and so so it's those are the kind of there's a lot of things that there should be profit motives, capitalism, competition. There's some good in that. There's innovation. All these different things, but not everything, not every not every industry needs to have a profit motive attached to it. Not
Agreed.
And so because it doesn't make sense because how are people being how are people being taken care of, and yeah, and as I said, prison's a good example of that. If you're running down the price of medical care, running down the price of food and safety and all that kind of stuff, then you just have riots and violence and injustice and things like that, and then same thing for healthcare and stuff. If it's safe for profit, then then you have people trying to go go to Guatemala for a surgery or something like that because they can't afford it, type thing. Or yeah, just all kind of crazy things, And I'm thinking about going to like Mexico to get my teeth fixed, stuff like that. So just because it's cheaper, and so but that's what there has to be a solution. I mean, but it also seems like right now though that there's just there's too much money in keeping things exactly the same. So like you're saying, there's gonna be a whole lot of resistance. Yeah, there is because people are making money hand over fist right now, and in healthcare doing the way we do now. Having these insurance plans, and then that are just pretty much like a discount card that gets declined all the time. So
what's really funny relating to us specifically, like so how the pharmaceutical companies like they'll push opioids onto like doctors. And then they'll want the doctors to prescribe these opioids, right? And that's how we got to the opioid epidemic that we've been going through for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So that shows you why, like, you're right. We need to take profit out of healthcare, because that's what happens. They create opioids, they create things that are highly addictive, give them to doctors, and then doctors will literally give them to people for like not even what they're prescribed for, if that makes sense. Like, people could like roll or break their ankle and they'll get like a 30-day prescription of a Percocet. You don't need that much for a broken ankle,
Yeah,
you don't need a full 30 days, like maybe 10, 15, but a 30-day prescription. And then what'll happen is the ankle will heal, right? They'll go through physical therapy and everything, but then they'll be going through withdrawal from the opioids they had just taken, and then like this leads to why some people go ahead and search for heroin because they can't get more opioids.
yeah,
And that's
because I mean,
go ahead.
because although opioids are just fancy heroin anyway. So
Exactly.
so
And pill form.
yeah, and so yeah, and so it's so those doctors pretty much just become drug dealers, right?
Basically, yeah.
And so like because the profit motive is too strong. There's too much money. There's too much money in it. And not only that, I mean, so that the opioid thing becomes a crisis. But but other things like crack, some other things aren't considered a healthcare crisis because of who it impacts. So like, but so I yeah, there we to me, like things like addiction like that. I mean, if you want to just talk about politics a little bit, I mean, to me, it shouldn't be criminalized. And so,
Well,
I don't know how much you're helping people that have a drug problem, putting them in prison and then having a record and then can't get a job and then you're back on drugs again, then in prison again, and all that cycle. And so like,
yep.
and so versus like in places like Denmark or Norway or whatever, they just kind of go to the clinic every week and get their heroin shot and go about their business type thing, and so that way you're not clogging up the prison system, the healthcare system. You're not robbing people, assaulting people for drugs or whatever. And so and they also have help and have kind of help to get you off if you want to. And so to me, like, yeah, there's some things that we could be doing differently here, but right now in the current situation, not going to happen. So,
Agreed. You know what I'm really hoping for, which I think has a good shot of happening? I think if, God forbid, if Joe Biden wins this summer, this fall, if he wins, I really, really think they're gonna do student loan reform. And oh my goodness, how that would help me so much. If they were able to even get like 50% of my loans forgiven, that is like a game changer to almost every student that had to take out loans. People, I mean, okay, so like Republicans, everyone's always like, why is the economy growing so slow? And like this and that, why are incomes not like going up? And why are we not on an economic upturn, And I honestly point at student loans. Like, when all the kids in my generation and then the generation after me and before me and like after them and before them are staying home with their parents until they're like 27, 28 and not living outside, that's a big issue. Like, America was used to, what's it called, like 1980, 1970, 1960. Kids were moving out of their parents' houses like 18, 19. Why? Because they could afford to. Now no one can afford to do it. You have student loan debt. Housing costs a lot. Renting costs a lot. Living now costs way more than it did when our parents were growing up. So if they want to jumpstart our economy again, forgive our student loan debt. I'll go out and buy a house like in 2 months if they did that, but I can't right now. I'm in the hole. So you can't have it both ways. They can't have us like enslaved with student loans and then also still want us to buy a house. Like, how does that make sense? We'll be in debt till we die. No one wants to do that.
And that's why, well, I mean, two things. One is that I feel extremely fortunate is that because of the GI Bill and the Air Force, I had no student loan debt.
Good luck. I mean, I wish I was you.
So, and so I got my school was free and I got paid for going. So it's like a part-time job for like 3 years. So like,
okay.
And so like, and no books, no nothing. And so like, but that's, but.
Did you use your GI Bill?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so like, I think I had to use it like within 10 years after I separated or something. And I did. And so,
yeah.
University of Phoenix type thing. And so, but yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, that but there's so many people in our country, that have their parents, pay for their school. My wife's one of them. Like, and so that that the whole student loan crisis or debt thing, I just wonder sometimes, like, if the if there's one of those things where it's more profitable to have all these payments in place, than to get rid of it. I don't know.
Well, of course it's more profitable, but like, well, not of course. I find it hard to believe that if let's say tomorrow Trump was like, I'm forgiving 50% of everyone's student loan debts. I find it very hard to believe that isn't better than them just collecting on debts right now, because there are people that just won't pay it. And like, yeah, I know they'll wage garnish you. I know they'll do all this stuff, but like, if you take away 50% of their debt, then like it just opens up so many more things, so many more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know personally, like I have a family member who went to undergrad on a student loan, went and got their master's on a student loan, and then went to law school on their student loan, and they owe almost $450,000 in student loans. And if you were to ask them, like I did, why did you do that? Well, it's because they thought that they were going to be able to make enough money to pay all of it back. When in reality, you can't, because the interest will continue to grow. It's never a set number, It's always like more interest, more. You miss a payment, more interest. You miss two payments, and you defer. God forbid that you go on forbearance. It's just they trick you with the wording, and like what you are actually applying for is not what you think you're applying for. They were like, even with the government, like when you take out student loans with the government, like FAFSA, they still get your ass. I'm not even talking about private loan lenders. Those interest rates are out of control. They like no one is going to be able to pay all of that back. $450,000 in debt. You better be like $1 million rapper or something. Like,
Right, to start with. So, yeah, just to start.
yeah.
And so, like, I, yeah, 'cause the crazy thing is that those same folks, so you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and you have depression levels, like depression level unemployment.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so, like, so
I didn't even think about that part. Yeah.
and so, like, so this whole combination. I mean, I think that more than I wouldn't be least bit surprised if this current president, just tries to, you know, not do anything, and then to like to the next one, just kind of just drop this stink bomb on the next person, because there's so much. It's like it's kind of like a tinderbox waiting to explode. You have all that unemployment, all that debt, all this virus and stuff. It is not good. And so, but so that's why we gotta put out some positive content and try to uplift people
Definitely.
and so because some definite turbulent times, and I think people will turn to people that are staying positive in the storm type thing. So yeah, that's that. Well, I mean, it was a good talk. It's
It
like,
was.
CJ, you got anything to add, man, before we sign off here? You think?
No, sir. I'll talk to you guys after the stream. Let you know what the peeps were talking about, and I feel like we had a very informational stream.
Cool.
That should be interesting.
All right. Well, again, I'm host Jordan McConnell with my illustrious co-hosts, like CJ and Kevin. Thank you guys for having this conversation today. Check out the stream on Twitch. Chill Ghost. Check out Crohn's Veteran, www.crohnsveteran.com. Check CJ out at Papuro, Papuro. Jordan at Crohn's Veteran, CrohnsVeteran. and we're always looking for great feedback about how we can make our show better. So reach out to us, and y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Peace.
Peace. All right.